It's the Full Force News Burst Extra, brought to you by GeneralsJoe'sReborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. Last month, the G.I. Joe brand team revealed a new name coming to the Classified series. So let's talk Buzzer. Yep, it's another deep dive into the name-only classified reveals, and today we are stretching back to the 1st of October and the PulseCon G.I. Joe panel. We actually had 3 name-only reveals that day, but we are focusing on the one for right now. It's Richard Blinkinsmythe, aka Buzzer. Now, he wasn't the first of the Three Stooges Dreadnought squad to be announced for classified, but we will get to his colleague on a future episode. So many people have been clamouring for the Dreadnoughts since the birth of the classified series back in 2020. Of course, we've had a few Zartans and a Zorana since then, but the rest of the crew have been visibly absent from the lineup, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the design shift a year or so into the line. Maybe they had some wild design ideas for them and have since decided against that to keep them more in line with the current vintage-inspired design philosophy. It could explain why we haven't had a member, siblings aside, of the Dreadnoughts to this point. Well, it doesn't really matter now anyway, seeing as they look to be coming sooner rather than later, and with a bevy of characters to choose from, it's no surprise that they've decided to go old school and give us some classics first. Buzzer is arguably one of the most iconic Dreadnoughts. The blonde ponytail, shades and chainsaw combo was an instant classic. Each of the Holy Trinity consisting of Buzzer, Ripper and Torch had their own specialty weapon and function, and Buzzer stood out with some of those classic biker tropes. Born in Cambridge, England, thanks Larry, Buzzer had a very interesting file card history. The first iteration stated he was an extreme left-wing sociology don who travelled to Australia to research the biker gang phenomenon and ended up becoming the very thing he was researching. What the initial file card suggested was that he had repressed psychotic anger, something they decided to change possibly after the issues they had with Zartan and his psychological profile being removed at the request of the Mental Health Association of Indiana. They added a sticker to the file cards that edited the line about the anger and later printed it on the standard file card. Another change was made for a Chex Notes 4th iteration, only this time they completely did away with the biker gang angle. He got a 5th file card, believe it or not, but it was basically the same as the previous, just with the updates to the grey backed card from the original peach colour. This has to be the most revisions any Joe figure has ever had on their file card. The UK release in 1987 followed the first revision with no mention of his repressed psychotic anger, but did keep the biker gang aspect. Buzzer was another huge character in the Action Force International Heroes line, again featuring on merch, lots of representation in the comics, and of course heavily prominent in the VHS episodes available at the time. What was weird was the fact that we only had Buzzer and Ripper. Torch was never released in the UK. The running theory is that his cutting torch, which effectively became a flamethrower in the cartoon, was frowned upon despite having a lot of shine in the Sunbow series. He didn't even feature in the comics, and they were brutal, so who knows. Coming back to Buzzer and his classified appearance, I could see them doing some sort of 3-pack as opposed to the single releases, even though Torch hasn't been announced yet. That said, it's just as likely they will come separately as standard retail releases. Hopefully we will get more info regarding that aspect when Torch gets a name-only reveal in the future. In terms of Buzzer's design, I fully expect the obvious classic 1985 look with a few classified updates. The ripped sleeves would be fun and would either require a secondary over a bare body or just a new torso sculpt. The head sculpt is something I'm very excited to see. The blonde ponytail, removable shades, hopefully, and a face that has seen some things. I'm just expecting something special here. As for accessories, he has to have his removable gas can backpack, chainsaw, and nunchucker axe. Their words, not mine. I would have described it as a half-moon axe head on a chain. Even though the original doesn't have any sculpted holsters or sheaths, I could see them adding a pistol or knife on the figure just to bulk him up in the accessories department. Finally, I hope they homage his original card art to include a Mobat on the new box getting chewed up by his diamond tooth chainsaw. I always liked that the first Dreadnoughts had Joe vehicles on their card art in sort of a synergy with their famous appearance in the Marvel A Real American Hero comic when they trashed that airbase in issue 30. Anyway, what are you guys expecting? Any updates or just a straight vintage design? Would you prefer single releases or a 3-pack with Ripper and Torch? Do we all have repressed anger, or is it just me? Let me know in the comments below. Okay then, I will catch you on the next one. Stay fresh cheese bags, and as always, full force. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst Extra. Thank you for watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.